I've been born and bred in England, in Stoke-on-Trent in Cobridge, and all the community knows me. And they will know, if you ask them, they will know, like these labels what they put in on, like terrorist, this, that, they will know I know terrorist.
Usman Khan, a 28-year-old man from Staffordshire, is the suspect behind yesterday's London Bridge knife attack. He was an Islamic terrorist.
So let me get this straight. The dude who complained about people in Britain being Islamophobic for drawing a connection between Islam and terrorism thought he'd prove his point by becoming an Islamic terrorist.
Bruh.
But we shouldn't be too judgmental. Much like the judges who freed Usman Khan after he served just 8 years of a 16-year sentence. Because it's not like Khan had plotted to bomb the London Stock Exchange, the US Embassy, and kill Boris Johnson. Is it? Oh. But it's not like they freed him despite Khan being upgraded to a Category A prisoner after he made threats against senior prison staff. Is it? Oh. But it's not like Khan's would-be accomplices in his plot to bomb the US Embassy and the London Stock Exchange are back on the streets of London. Is it? Oh. But again, don't be too judgmental.
I know terrorists.
Just because he stabbed a bunch of people and was wearing a decoy explosives vest, was it really necessary to shoot him?
Well done to the public and the police on the fast response on London Bridge, but was there any need for the police to kill the man? They could have easily arrested him, but murdered him instead! State murder doesn't sit well with me. Everyone already knows the shooting was clearly reckless and unnecessary. He could easily have been arrested.
Yeah. Looks like it would have been so easy to arrest him. Mayor Sadiq Khan reacted to London's 5th Islamic terror attack in the space of 2 years by saying it proved diversity was a strength.
One of our strengths is our diversity. There are people out there who hate our diversity.
Just like London's knife crime epidemic, 73% of which, according to the Metropolitan Police, is carried out by black or ethnic minority offenders, also proves diversity is a strength.
Diversity.
A strength that countries like Poland, Hungary and the Czech Republic are too racist and backwards to enjoy. In the past 100 years, Poland has experienced one single terror attack. A package bomb detonated next to a bus in 2016 that injured one person. Since 2013, Hungary has experienced 2 minor attacks which injured 2 people, and the Czech Republic went 50 years without a single person dying in a terror attack on its soil. Now, I haven't quite been able to put my finger on it, but could there be some kind of connection between the relative safety of these countries and the kind of people who live there? But who needs safety when you can have diversity? I know which one I'd choose.
Diversity.
Who needs actual borders when you can just have internal diversity barriers? Because they work really well. Whichever European city you go to these days, Britain included, all of its public buildings and major infrastructure are positively surrounded by bollards and steel barriers. Yet at the same time, the governments of these countries have never taken a more lax attitude to the place where bollards or similar security might be more usefully deployed. That is along what we used to call a border. Some parts of the UK are so diverse that this Pakistani actress couldn't tell Bradford apart from her home country.
Amazing. It's my first trip to Bradford and it is like mini Pakistan for me. And the love, the passion that everyone has, it's so welcoming. And I feel like I am actually in my own country.
It seems like the only thing about the UK that remains immune from diversity is the billboards telling white people to sterilise themselves. Meanwhile, some parts of Sweden are so diverse that they just experienced 100 explosions in the past year alone. What's going on? Not enough diversity? The former president of the Austrian Supreme Court said that Muslim men's lack of respect for women's rights was a price worth paying for diversity. She told potential female victims of this mindset, just get over it.
Nein, aber wenn der nicht straffällig wird, also wenn der niemanden umbringt, nicht stiehlt oder Drogen dealt, wenn aber hier unsere Werte nicht anerkennt, also er ist gegen die Gleichberechtigung der Frau, ja gut, das werden wir verschmerzen können, nicht? Wenn
Ich weiß
die
es
Ehe aber
nicht.
arbeitet.
Wir werden es verschmerzen können, vielleicht seine Tochter nicht. Das kann schon sein.
Ich kann sich ja dagegen wehren.
Verschmerzen.
Aber ich meine, man muss da am Boden bleiben. Ne? Das ist nicht so ein Problem, dass wir sagen, ja, wir können mit dem überhaupt nicht zurechtkommen. Und es ist eine drohende Gefahr, gegen die wir
Wieso
das machen
wehren Sie
können.
den Gedanken ab, dass es Probleme gibt, die man nicht lösen kann? Sagen Sie mal bitte, wieso glauben
Wir
Sie...
müssen damit leben. Da müssen wir es akzeptieren, da müssen wir damit leben.
Ja.
British Labour MP Naz Shah shared a Twitter post which said that abused girls sex trafficked by Asian grooming gangs just need to shut their mouths for the good of diversity. What baffles me is that despite believing so vehemently that diversity is a strength, left-wing politicians reside in the least diverse areas possible. As Tucker Carlson said, our leaders are for diversity, just not where they live.
Now let's consider how the other half lives, the people who are making these decisions about immigration and demographic change. Are their neighborhoods changing like Hazleton and Storm Lake and Compton? Come on, you know the answer to that. LA County is now overwhelmingly Hispanic, but not upper-income Malibu, where the famous liberals live, where everybody supports these changes. Malibu is still 80% white, 87% white, actually. New York City, diverse place, of course, but not in Michael Bloomberg's neighborhood. His zip code is 82% white. It's less than 5% Hispanic. It's still 1985 where Michael Bloomberg lives. It probably always will be. That's the point. Same with Barack Obama's neighborhood here in Washington. That zip code is less than 8% Hispanic. Meanwhile, just across the river in the suburbs in Virginia, more Spanish-speaking every year. Obama loves that. He just doesn't want to live near it. Diversity for thee, but not for me.
The majority of the ISIS terrorists who carried out the Paris massacre entered Europe as migrants or refugees. ISIS even bragged about this in their own magazine. At its height, there were more British Muslims in ISIS than British Muslims in the British Army. But the question remains, are Islamist terrorist attacks in Britain, and indeed across Europe, a price worth paying for the benefits we get as a country from Muslim immigration? The benefits that I don't think anyone can deny are incredibly lengthy and are listed here. Some biased, disgusting right-wing propaganda institution did a massive study that took 1,001 data points from 87 different studies, which concluded, and get this, that diversity wasn't a strength. Seeking to answer whether continued immigration and corresponding growing ethnic diversity was having a positive impact on community cohesion, the study found the opposite to be the case. The researchers concluded we find a statistically significant negative relationship between ethnic diversity and social trust across all studies. What bigoted, hateful, Islamophobic, fascist institution could possibly have been behind such a study? It was the University of Copenhagen in Denmark. Oh.
Diversity.
Borders didn't stop Usman Khan. He was a supposedly integrated citizen, a son of Pakistani immigrants. Being convicted of a terrorist plot to literally blow up the US embassy didn't stop Usman Khan because of our weak prison sentencing system. What eventually stopped Usman Khan was a combination of brave citizens, fire extinguishers, and a narwhal tusk. The use of fire extinguishers and narwhal tusks will now be classified as racist and offensive weapons.
I know terrorists.
Moments before the attack, the terrorist was attending a conference about the rehabilitation of prisoners. And one of his victims wrote his dissertation on the overrepresentation of black and ethnic minority males in the prison system. Males like the terrorist who went on to kill him. In the days after the attack, the victim's father insisted that it was an insult to the victims to politicize the attack. A response we don't seem to hear whenever a white supremacist carries out an attack, where the reaction is always to immediately politicize it. Back in 2017, the victim's father revealed how his son, quote, loved diversity. This is all beginning to have a familiar ring to it. 19-year-old Maria Landenberger raped and strangled to death by an Afghan migrant in Germany. Her parents responded by asking well-wishers to donate money to a migrant charity. 20-year-old Molly Tibbetts killed by an illegal immigrant from Mexico. Her father responded by telling people not to be racist. During the 6 weeks he spent in Iowa while authorities searched for his daughter, he ate at a number of Mexican restaurants, remarking, "The Hispanic community are Iowans, they have the same values as Iowans. As far as I'm concerned, they're Iowans with better food." The day after, hundreds of migrant men molested and raped 2,000 women in Cologne, Germany. Feminists responded by visiting the local migrant center and handing out roses to the migrants. Tolerance means shutting people up. Intellectual freedom has receded because diversity means uniformity. Thousands of years ago, the Aztecs sacrificed their children to the rain god for the sake of a good harvest. Some may ask the question today, are we sacrificing our children to the gods of political correctness for the sake of diversity? It's absolutely crucial for you to help me fight the war on free speech by supporting me via Subscribe Star, link in description, and also signing up for my free newsletter at summit.news/newsletter.